62 kilo competition. Sabanese looks good, doesn't he, David?
Yes, he's looking, he's 5 kilos clear on the snatch phase of the lift. But you can't write off the Bulgarian, known for his clean and jerks. So I think we've still got a very, very close competition coming up.
Looking at the sort of kiloages, well, Sabanese, he lifted 165 in the Olympic Games in '96. Well, 165 is the same amount that Georgiev clean and jerked in December in Thailand. Sabanese, from what we've seen, looks in pretty good shape, so it really could be a tussle, but Georgiev's going to have to pull out something really special. Or Sabanese, perhaps, is going to have a bit of a disaster. On stage now, this is the Latvian, starting at a relatively modest 130 kilos. And gets 3 white lights. He struggled earlier on to get a good snatch in, but eventually managed it. Morozov, who got 105 kilos.
So we're now looking at the older of the Welling brothers from Finland. Made a best snatch of 112.5 kilograms. Coming in here with 132.5 on the clean and jerk. And there'll be about another 8 clean and jerks. And then the bar will take a huge leap to 155 kilos for the opening poundage of the Bulgarian. That is, of course, unless we see the kind of changes that we saw in the snatch. It's going to be a very tactical battle, and the choice of poundages will be crucial.
The coaches have really got to be on their toes now, because we saw in the snatch there the distance between that board in the warm-up room and where the lifters are. It can be very confusing, because in that 30-second walk there's no way that the coach can actually see what's going on. There's no board, there's no sign. There's the odd TV monitor around, but it's not necessarily going to show him the scoreboard at the moment he wants to see it. So he's quite divorced. You can find yourself, the corridor out there makes you, in a way, in no man's land.
Well, some coaches may even use this as a distraction. You know, they may allow one of the lifters to walk to the platform and then change the poundage in the warm-up room, and then have to have him marched back. And of course, this is very off-putting.
Well, could have walkie-talkies brought into use before now. And Jarkko with 135 opens his account. And as you said earlier, David, certainly a bit of brotherly rivalry here between Jarkko and Jyrki. Morozov, though, has got to come on first and dispatch his lifts. Different hand position for the jerk, in line with the shoulders.
Well, he's not having a brilliant day. Successful in one snatch. He's got a clean and jerk on the board, but he's going to have to repeat that 135.
At least he's going to go home with a total. It's not going to be a very impressive one, but better than going home with nothing at all. So Morozov, I think, will probably follow himself now.
Yes, nobody else wanting to take 135. So he'll now take this for his third, and then the bar will increase in weight.
Actually underlines here how much you, as a lifter, do need your coaches to be working it out for you and dealing with situations like this. It would be a nightmare if you were a lifter on your own. You just simply probably would miss the stage every time.
Well, in a competition this close, you know, it's impossible to concentrate on your lifting and to be able to see all the tactics that are going on the board. So it's very important that you've got somebody who knows what's going on to choose the correct weights.
So Morozov going for 135 kilos now. This would give him a total of 240. Still would not surpass the total that Jarkko Welling has got for Finland. He's got 247.5 on the board. Still a couple more attempts.
Well, his heart wasn't really in that one.
And he finishes on 235. And we're looking for a total here of very close to 300. So that just puts it in perspective.
Yes, outclassed in this field.
So this is Jyrki, the other brother, the younger one.
Of course, we're forgetting these are men weighing under 10 stone, and the weight on the bar is in excess of 300 pounds. But of course, it only seems light because of there's such good competitors in this competition. The standard is so high. But of course, everything's relative.
Good strong split and drive, chucks it over his head, and both Finns have got a score on the board.
Yes, I think the younger brother, the better technician and the more solid lifter.
And still relatively young at 24, several years lifting ahead of him. The Finns will be looking to him to do his best in November when they welcome the weightlifting world to Lahti for the World Championships. Now on comes his brother. So just to give you the situation, it's Jyrki, who just went off, who's at the moment got a total of 252.5, and this is Jarkko, who's asked for 140 kilos on the bar. This would give him an extra 5 kilos and put him up to 252.5. However, it's Jarkko who's weighed in at 61.55 kilos and Jyrki at 61.85. So if he makes this, Jarkko, he'll go ahead of his brother. But he doesn't.
But he still has another attempt left, so... It's the bar now at 140 kilos, that's 308 pounds.
235, that's the total that Morozov has finished on. But a while to go. You won't see Sabonis for a moment or two. He's chalked in 127 I should say, sorry, 157.5 kilos. Once again, we've got two very optimistic Azerbaijanis who are suggesting that they're going to open at 165 kilos for Suleimanov and Melikov at 167.5.
Of course, one wonders whether Melikov is going to be competing, or you know, whether the injury that he sustained is going to enable him to continue in the jerk, or whether he's finished.
We've not heard anything from the back room at the moment. So Jarko, third attempt. And this for the lead, for a few moments at least, if he makes it. Well, he's used an awful lot of petrol getting it to there.
Really wants this, though.
He wasn't that far away.
No, definitely some rivalry there.
So not for the first time in competition, Yerki will prove stronger than brother Jarko, as we see Sabonis in the back room.
Yes, of course, Sabonis still only halfway through his preparation. He's got about 140 kilos on the bar at the moment. He's down to start at 157.5.
Yerki to increase his advantage. At the moment he leads the overall competition with 252.5, but I must emphasize there are plenty who've yet to start. In fact, most of the field. 7 lifters yet to get going. That's very good lifting. Very good indeed. 142.5 kilos. And that's the amount that he tried to lift a year ago in Rijeka on 2 occasions, failed to do so. But today he's made it, increased his total to 257.5, and by all reckoning, that is a personal best right across the board.
Bitte 147,5 Kilogramm auflegen. 147,5. Willing taking more, 147.5 kilograms on the bar.
So good lifting there. I think he did really well, that.
And he's still got 1 attempt to go. And he's decided to take 147.5 kilos, which is a pretty decent clean and jerk at this body weight.
Well, it's way beyond anything that we've seen him do in major championships, so... Is he brave? Is he foolish? Should he have just gone for the extra 2.5? What do you think?
No, I think he made the right choice. He's beaten his brother.
Indeed, I suppose this is all about his own personal target, his own personal ambitions now.
Yes, I mean, he knows he's not going to be in with a chance of the medal, so he's just going to try and...
But he's going to give himself as respectable a total as he can, and he's going to give a big boost to finish weightlifting as well. I think the dad will be pretty impressed with both boys, but in particular Yerki. ...1994 in the Junior Europeans in Rome. He only clean and jerked 125. I know it's 4 years, but still a useful increase. Oh yes!
Needs to get those feet in line.
Yeah,
which he does.
I think the arms are there, Surely, yes. Well done. Terrific. 262.5. And that is a very good series. And again, just like his brother, he showed great determination. So now the bar moves up to 150 kilos for Darbinian. Darbinian, disappointing snatch series, failed twice at 127.5 kilos, left him with only 122.5, so he's well off the pace. Just under 30 seconds for him to get this bar moving.
Nice solid lift though. A good start, but he made a good start in the snatch. But if you remembered, he was messed around with the with all the changes on the board and had to wait a long time for his second attempt. So hopefully that won't happen again.
Well, will he follow himself? We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, just an extra 2.5 kilos has been put on the bar for him.
I think he'll be jumping up more than 2.5.
I think so.
Sort of short, stocky man, seems much more comfortable with the clean and jerk than the snatch.
Well, at the moment, the bar going to 155 for Georgiev, but judging by the way the snatch went, maybe he'll be stopped.
Well, it looks like he's coming out for 155.
Well, this is 2.5 kilos less than he opened with in Chiang Mai in December when he went for the world title. He went 157, 162.5, and then 165. And he's got some catching up to do.
But of course, he was lifting at 64 in Chiang Mai?
59 kilos.
59. Oh, well, this is interesting. You would have thought you'd been stronger as a 62 kilo lifter. It was a very comfortable lift, though. He's obviously got a lot more there.
Well, maybe the tactic is to get one on the board and then wait and see. And let a few other people worry for a few minutes.
Well, this is what he did in the snatch. He got his lifts in, and then he sat back and waited and watched the others fail. I think this is something that you've got to do. You've got to lift at your own competition. You can't keep looking at what everybody else is doing and start chopping and changing. You've just got to concentrate on yourself. And I think this is the mistake that the Melikov and Suleimanov made. So Zoltan, Hungarian, took him 3 goes to get 130 on the snatch.
Yes, and again, following a pattern of problems in the World Championships, he didn't get a snatch there. He did get a clean and jerk, 160 kilos. Well, that looks comfortable enough.
Yes, he looks a lot better on this lift. Well, definitely got himself together since the snatch.
Yes, and he's coming down, of course, from 64 kilos to 62. Well, Sabanis had chalked in 157.5, and it looks as if he's going to keep to his plan. There's no reason why he shouldn't keep to his plan, given the advantage that he's got.
Yes, I mean the bar now getting very heavy, and it makes you wonder if Melikov is still going to be competing in the clean and jerk or not. If he is, he's going to be coming in at 160 kilos, at least.
So Leonidas Sabonis, just under half a minute.
Didn't waste any time with that,
It's good to see the Greek men's team back in competition. We were mightily disappointed when they all defected from the World Championships through all sorts of different injuries and illnesses. And now the neighbourly rivalry between Turkey and Greece joined here. Mukahit Yagi. Mukahit, another man to let himself down. He lifted 127.5 in the snatch, but 2 failures at 132.5 left him 7.5 kilos behind the man who's just preceded him, Sabonis, and 2.5 behind Georgiev. Fifteen seconds.
Confident of lifts, but solid and steady nevertheless. And 3 white lights.
And in total terms, that pushes him up into second place. Sabonis still with a 7.5 kilo advantage over Yagi, with Georgiev at the moment equal in second place in terms of kiloage, but in third because of the heavier body weight than the Turk. Sabonis rests out as Darbinian comes in. Darbinian for his second snatch, going 150. 150,
clean and jerk.
Sorry, clean and jerk, thanks David. 157.5, so 7.5 kilos.
Well, he did look good on the clean and jerk. His opening attempt with 150 was very comfortable. Short, stocky man, built for the clean and jerk. Looks much more comfortable with this lift. So perhaps a 7.5 kilo jump will be the sensible thing to do. Cleans, oh, well. To eat my words. Maybe it was too big a jump. I don't think that was the weight though, David. I think it was more of a technical error. Wasn't concentrating. Just let the elbows drop. Perhaps came up too soon before he was in the right position.
Well, now he's got a choice to make. Does he follow himself, or does he want to be really brave?
We still don't know whether Melikov is in or out of the competition.
Well, that suggests that Darbinian is going to pass and
take 160.
Indeed. Clock still ticking away at the moment. Or is he going to take 157.5? You'd have to say that it would be far more sensible. 160, I wonder, 10 kilos?
Well, it depends how he's thinking. He may be looking for a medal in the clean and jerk, but he's coming out here though on 157.5,
So third and final attempt. If he gets this, he goes up to 280, but it's not going to put him on the podium overall. And in a clean and jerk, he'd...
puts him into the bronze position.
Yes.
Because of his body weight. Well, that's better. And leaves you wondering again why he didn't do it the first time.
So he gets that and finishes his lifting.
280 total. In third position on the clean and jerk at the moment, but of course, many more lifts to come.
So the competition, I think, just about to move into an extra gear now. I think this is where it's really going to get interesting now, and the stakes are going to get even higher. Suleimanov for Azerbaijan coming in at 160. Clean and jerk, well, he put down 165, so once again, well below his posted total.
But this would actually put him into second position at the moment, if successful. So quite an important lift, and of course it puts him in the lead on the clean and jerk.
Nothing wrong with that. And this is going to be okay as well.
So there's the leader on the clean and jerk.
And 160 kilos there to Suleimanov. Puts him into second place overall, behind Sabanis, who's got a 5 kilo advantage and is also the lighter man in any case. That's the clean and jerk situation. In fact, Suleimanov not on that first page, so it doesn't really... Suleimanov in the lead there, I should say, on that page for the clean and jerk. Now Farkas. He's got 155, so 160 now.
This will actually put him in the lead, believe it or not, because he weighed the same as Suleimanov, but he was, well, it doesn't matter now, but it would have put him into first place by virtue of being first in the draw. And he looks disappointed with that, which he should be.
So Suleimanov leads from Yagi and Sabanis in the clean and jerk phase. Sabanis still in charge overall. $162.5 being chalked in there for Sabanis. And Suleimanov of Azerbaijan also has suggested that'll be his next step. This is the overall situation. 5 kilos Sabanis has the call at the moment, and you can see he's 7.5 ahead of the world champion Georgiev. Likewise Yagi.
But of course Melikov is still on the board to come in at 167.5.
I've never seen a Hoover used on the stage before, have you?
No.
Georgiev in the wings.
Melikov has come down to 165, so he's obviously still intending to compete.
Well, the running repairs have obviously worked. So Farkas, it looks as if he's going to be the next man, not Georgiev, to lift. Here is Farkas.
Well, that would suggest that Georgiev is taking more than 160. Because this is Farkas's third attempt. Well, I think it's Georgiev's second attempt, so he must be taking more than 160 kilos.
Well, that'll be a 10 kilo leap to 165, which is what he lifted in the World Championships.
Maybe he's coming in at 162.5. We'll have to wait and see. But it's certainly more than 160.
I think you're right, actually. I think Georgiev will come in at 162.5. I think he's unlikely to go 165. I think he'd probably like to see what Sabanese is going to do.
Yes.
There's all sorts of permutations at the moment. That's going to get the lights in his favour. 3 white lights.
And I believe that puts him into the lead on the clean and jerk and the silver medal position.
Does indeed. 61 kilos, 60, and as you said, he was the first to lift, so he goes ahead of Suleimanov, who's already lifted 160. On the other hand, Suleimanov's only used one of his lives, and Zoltan's finished his work for the day. Overall, Leonidas Sabanese leads 292.5. That's 2.5 ahead of Farkas, 5 ahead of Suleimanov, and 7.5 still ahead of Yagi and Georgiev. Now, Georgiev could change all that, because if he takes this successfully, that's going to give him an extra 7.5 kilos, take him up to 292.5, and he is lighter than Sabanese.
So this actually puts him in the overall lead.
It does indeed, and would leave him 1 lift to go.
So this is important. This puts the pressure back on Sabanese. Needs to hold.
And the stocky Bulgarian gets it. And that's the fascination of this sport, isn't it? It's not just lifting the weight, it's the pressure of, you do it to me, I'll do it to you. You ask me again, I'll answer, and I'll throw down my cards for you to respond to. And Georgiev isn't going to give up his chase for the European title that easily. Now another conflagration here.
I think it sounds to me as if the Greeks have complained about that last lift from the Bulgarian, saying that it was a press out. But I think the jury's rejected it and said that
So Sabanese now
to put the pressure back on.
So unofficially, Sabanese and Georgiev locked together on 292.5 kilos. Sabanese takes this. He restores the advantage.
Yes, this will put him back into the lead.
In a big way.
But of course it won't put him in the lead on the clean and jerk. The Bulgarian will still be leading by virtue of lighter body weight.
Oh!
Now that could be a costly mistake.
So Sabanese with a second attempt failure at 162.5.
So things are beginning to look good for the Bulgarians again.
And Mulkahet Yagi, now what can he do? 162.5 kilos. He is the light man of the whole competition, so this would put him into the lead in the clean and jerk. And would take him up to 290 and put him into bronze medal position overall. Too heavy?
It looked good. I thought the clean was strong. It looked just as good as the 157.5. I think it's just a lack of concentration. I think he can't believe it. Perhaps he thought the clean was so easy and he relaxed slightly in the second phase.
Well, you said early on in this competition, you thought that this could be a night where anyone who puts clean lifts in, 6 out of 6, 5 out of 6, that could really pay dividends. And it's beginning to look that way, because Georgiev at the moment is in the lead.
Yes, with four successful lifts.
There he is, 162.5. You can see 61.35 kilos body weight.
So Sabonis back on the platform.
For his third and final attempt, and then if he gets this...
Well, he needs this for the lead.
He needs this for the lead, but Georgiev will still have one opportunity to reply.
Needs to put everything into that jerk, which he doesn't. So disaster for the Greeks.
Looking so good, but now Sabonis, the gold medal overall, the one he really wanted, has now gone. And it's Georgiev, the world champion, who's at the top of the rankings. Sabonis, who beat Georgiev last year in the Europeans.
But of course, we're still waiting to see if Melikov can come back.
Yagi, 162.5, still on the bar here. Now again, just to remind you, if he lifts this, he takes the lead in the clean and jerk.
Yes, I think he's capable of this. It's just a question of...
And also it would take him up to 290 total and put him into the bronze medal position and knock Farkas off the podium.
So pressure lift.
This, in every sense of the word, is a medal winning lift. Or at least to give himself a chance of it.
Right, now this is the part that gave him the problem. Really needs to chuck it high and keep driving those arms overhead, which he does.
Yes.
And he knows he's got it.
Time will tell whether it's going to be good enough for a medal, but he's given himself every chance.
Yes, he's in the gold medal position on the clean and jerk. Can't win the overall, of course.
No. But just looking at that, Georgiev has got one lift to go. Suleimanov has got 2. Melikov about to start, and he's got 3, and he's coming in at 165. So they really must have patched him up well.
Well, this is going to be interesting after that accident on the snatch. Still coming in at 165 kilos.
That's the situation. 292.5 current positions, but you can see there overall Georgiev being the lighter man by just 50 grams in the lead.
Yes, this will still put Melikov in the lead on the clean and jerk, and of course put him in a reasonably strong position because he still has 2 lifts remaining.
But he's got to get this one. I think if he has a problem here, it might all just drift away.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this lift. He's come in with a huge weight of 165 kilos.
I mean, he's got a body weight of 61.4 kilos.
He's cleaned it. Well, I don't think that was a problem with strength. He actually jerked that weight to arm's length without any problems at all. And then just lost it on the recovery. So still a dangerous man and still has 2 attempts left.
Yes, this part was fine, but
Drove it above the head and then
he just almost seemed to give in. Suleimanov, his teammate's second attempt at 165. Now 165 would give him the lead in the clean and jerk. And it would take him to 292.5. But he is heavier than both Georgiev and Sabonis. But, of course, this is his second attempt, and he would have one more go. chance to give himself the overall title. Do you feel he's got to make this?
He was so good in the first phase. Seemed to rush it a bit.
So it's all coming down to these final lifts. Just a few lifts to go now. Georgiev's got one left. Suleimanov has got one left. Melikov has got two left. Georgiev, well, he played the waiting game in the snatch. Melikov coming in. And Georgiev's in a very good position, isn't he? Because he can wait and go for 165.
But of course, everything could change with one lift.
But Georgiev knows that if either of these pick up 165, he might well have to go for an extra 5 kilos instead of an extra 2.5. Half a minute to go.
And I want him to get this because this is going to make the competition much more interesting. But he's not having a good day.
And I think that may be the end of Melikov. He's got one more attempt, but
I don't think he's had enough, though. I think he wants to use that attempt. He can see that there's a possibility of a gold medal on the clean and jerk, and I don't think he's going to...
Well, the other thing is that he hasn't got a total. He's coming at 165. He's been ambitious. The next lift, if he doesn't make it, he's got nothing. Georgiev, 165, 2.5 kilos, same weight he lifted in the Worlds.
Yes, of course, the success of this will increase his lead, giving him 295. And then, of course, he'll have to sit back and see what the others can do.
He's absolutely on the same path as last December.
I think he's played a good tactical battle.
Needs this.
Needs this. These Bulgarians, they really hang on to the lifts when they're needed, don't they?
Yes, he was doing that in Thailand and he's doing it now because he reckons that he's done enough. He's the lighter man. He's gone 2.5 kilos clear of Sabonis.
And the coaches are telling him to get off the platform, but he's having none of it.
No. You'll see Mark Huster of Germany probably doing a bit of that here on Saturday afternoon. But Georgiev, 295 total. Suleimanov, situation for him is he's coming on at 165. If Suleimanov gets this at 165, it isn't going to give him the lead in the clean and jerk because he's heavier than Georgiev, but it would give him the silver medal. Overall, it would push him into third place and push Mukahit Yagi off the overall podium.
Now, needs to take his time. She doesn't.
And that's the third lift, and we wait to see whether Melikov will take this final clean and jerk. But it's pretty clear now that Georgiev, the world champion, has followed that success last December by lifting exactly the same weights to take the European crown here in Germany. 167.5 kilos being put on the bar.
Melikov's going for broke.
Absolutely going for broke because he hasn't got a total.
All or nothing.
Indeed.
Always makes the... So Melikov's taking 170 to win the overall competition. This would be something, wouldn't it? Two failures at 165. and then to come out, I think he's capable of it, because the first attempt on 165 was there. He just relaxed when the weight was overhead.
Well, this
second attempt was technical. This could happen. What a way to end the competition.
297.5, and he has to get this because he's heavier than Georgiev. And I'd love to see the camera stay on the face of Georgiev to see.
This is all or nothing. All or nothing.
I wish we could see Georgiev's face.
This is for the clean and jerk and the overall. What a way this would be to end the competition.
I'll tell you what, if he lifts this, the disbelief on Georgiev's face would be amazing. And I'd be pretty incredulous. I don't think he's going to do this.
So far, the Azerbaijanis have not been very good at sort of getting their lifts in and finishing things off. They seem to be lacking on the psychological side, where the Bulgarians seem to pull things out. So
he's only got 9 seconds to get this bar moving now. He's got everything against him and very little for him.
2, 1. Well, look at that. Now he's got to steady himself. This could be it. All or nothing. Oh, and how close was that? Oh, what an end to a competition. I mean, you've got to feel sorry for him. He injured himself after the snatch, missed his first 2, had 2 seconds left on the clock, cleaned the weight he needed to win, and then just lost it in the second phase of the clean and jerk.
And but for that, he'd have been European champion. This part was excellent. Really good clean.
And then just unable to finish it off.
And out the back door.
Arm's length as well.
So Stefan Georgiev of Bulgaria maintains the Bulgarian run here. They have won every overall gold medal in the first 2 days here. 6 championships. Well, a competition full of twists and turns. There's the man himself, Stefan Georgiev. And I think, as you said, David, he had a plan. They were well organised. They didn't panic. They didn't get too fussed about what a lot of other people were doing. He put the work in, and at the end of the day, he's got the major reward.
Yeah, they just concentrated on what they were doing and didn't worry too much about anybody else.
So just confirmation that the gold medal overall has gone to Stefan Georgiev of Bulgaria. Leonidas Sabonis of Greece takes the overall silver, 295 to 292.5, and in third place overall, Mukahit Yagi of Turkey with 290, who edges out Zoltan Farkas of Hungary, who loses it by virtue of the body weight. There it is, the clean and jerk situation on your screen. Georgiev gets the gold medal in that. Mukahit takes the silver. Suleimanov of Azerbaijan there with a first lift in the clean and jerk of 160 to get the bronze. But the overall situation is that the clean and jerk competition won by Georgiev, and he also takes the overall gold medal. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the competition. We're back here tomorrow afternoon at 2:15 Central European Time for more of the women's action. For myself, David Goldstrom, and David Morgan, thanks for your company. Enjoy the rest of your evening.